Hello, my name is Samantha Baltus, and today I'll be talking to you about aggression, specifically the causes, the factors, and prevention of aggressive behaviors. So first, let's take a look at the types of aggression. There are 4 different types. There's physical, social, hostile, and instrumental. Physical aggression can be defined as hurting someone else's body, whether that be hitting, punching, anything like that. As long as you have physical contact between 2 people, that is physical aggression. Social aggression can be defined as hurting someone else's feelings or threatening their relationship. So we see a lot of that through society and cyberbullying, where we post derogatory comments and things like that about somebody on social media or in person even. Somebody can say something super mean that hurts someone's feelings. Hostile aggression is aggression sprung from anger. So the goal of hostile aggression is to injure somebody else. You are just so upset that you feel the need to hurt somebody, whether that is mentally, physically, or emotionally. Lastly, we have instrumental aggression. Instrumental aggression has the need to injure against someone else, but the injury is due to something else. So an example of instrumental aggression would be you've had a really bad day and you just really need to take your anger out on something, but instead of taking your anger out on, let's say, hitting a pillow or screaming into a pillow, you decide to punch somebody near you. That would be an example of instrumental aggression. Next is a question of what leads to aggressive behavior. So in our book by Myers and Twing, they talk about aggressive behavior springing from alcohol and testosterone. So alcohol, as if you've had any run-ins with alcohol, can really reduce someone's self-awareness, and their attention is very focused on provocation. I know from experience watching other people, they like to joke around more, but your impulse control is so out of whack with alcohol. So I agree 100% with Myers and Twing on that. Next, there's a frustration aggression theory that is posted within the book as well. And that frustration aggression theory, it defines frustration that is triggered through readiness to aggress, which is through displacement. So displacement can be defined as the redirection of aggression to another target, whether that be a person or an object or something of like that. And this aggression is targeted to the source that is not of the frustrational behavior. So again, it's kind of like the instrumental aggression as well, which is kind of what the frustration aggression theory is kind of defining. Lastly, we have learned social behaviors that can lead to aggressive behavior. So through the social learning theory, we find that we learn through imitating our siblings, learn through imitating our adults. We learn very early on how to kind of open our eyes, how to smile by watching our parents or family members that are holding us when we are infants. There's also this thing when we are aggressive towards someone else where we get a reward. So we kind of get this feeling that we have attention, we have gained their power, all that other stuff. So by bringing down somebody else through an aggressive behavior, we feel like we have brought ourselves up. So there's a kind of reward give and take there. So moving on, we have these things that cause our aggressive behavior. So to name a few, we have pain, heat, physical attacks, aggressive cues, media, and lastly, video games. So when somebody becomes physically hurt, whether that be with heat or they were punched or whatnot, typically their testosterone and adrenaline are pumping after that, and they begin to feel a hostile aggression where they need to bring off this pain onto somebody else, to become irritable to painful stimulus and become very annoyed, and they feel like they need to be aggressive towards somebody else because they can't deal with their own pain. Next, we have the heat. When it's very hot outside or something, it's smoky and you can't see, you feel discomfort. Whenever somebody feels discomfort, just like with pain, you become very aggressive because you're not used to that feeling. And again, we have physical attacks, physical aggression. That's kind of self-explanatory there. And then there's aggressional cues through the media and through video games. And that is very present through the Bobo doll study done by Bandura, shown to lead to many different types of issues. And this isn't explained in the video, which explains a study done from the Oxford Journal Science Cognitive and Affective Neuroscience Committee with Dr. Barry Carlton. And he kind of goes through a study that he did where he tested on MRI, or he tested on younger males and tested their aggressive behaviors and which parts of that brain were affected while playing video games. So let's just take a gander and look at this video to see what he has come up with.
A new study says violent video games can actually change the brain of teenagers. And for the first time, it shows how watching violence affects an adolescent's brain. KITV4's Dick Allgaier joining us now on why this should concern parents. Dick?
Paula, this study just came out hours ago in the Oxford Journal Social, Cognitive, and Affective Neuroscience. Teenage boys were given MRIs while they watched violent videos. Researchers actually could see their brains becoming desensitized. Computer video games have gotten more and more realistic and increasingly violent. Teens are taught to shoot human beings on screen in a heartbeat. Got him. Previous research has shown people can become more aggressive and desensitized to real-life violence after repeated exposure to violent media programs. This new study looked at how this happens.
It's something that you've known, or we've known, and what it does is it put science to what was always known clinically.
14 to 17-year-old boys watched only moderately violent scenes. MRIs looked at their brains and found, over time, the region of their brain that is involved in emotions became less responsive. Dr. Barry Carlton is the director of the Family Treatment Center at Queens Medical Center.
As a parent, I think the issue becomes one of balance. As a culture and society, we have to look at what we are providing our kids for, and in a way, what gives implicit permission for violence, which is what access to these games do.
Dr. Carlton says it is impossible to ban violent videos, but he says parents should consider putting a limit on them.
I think as adults and as a society, we have a certain amount of responsibility to examine what we are giving to teenagers to use. And I think as adults and parents, we do need to look at that and see if there is a way to limit teenagers' access to violent games.
The researchers concluded exposure to aggressive media blunts the emotional response of adolescents, and that in turn increases aggressive behavior. Paula?
Okay, so Dick, the experts are saying that people might actually react in real life the same way they do while playing a video game.
Paula, that's exactly what they're saying. Electronic games stimulate structures in the brain that encourage aggression.
All right, Dick, thank you very much.
So I feel that video really kind of encapsulated the factors of aggressive behavior and how aggressive behavior can affect other people, how it can affect yourself, and all that good stuff. So now that we have a general understanding of what aggressive behavior is and what can cause aggressive behavior and how it is learned, we should look at ways to prevent aggressive behavior. So the first thing that needs to be done is to talk it out. Whenever you're feeling aggressive and you feel like you really need to do something, take a deep breath and let it out, and then go and confront the situation head on. Don't let those feelings bottle up within inside you, because that is not going to help anything at all. And then if you are a parent or you are a role model to someone else, you need to watch what you are doing in front of the children. Specifically, if they're your own kids. Kids are very impressionable and they will follow whatever you say. So if you are swearing in front of your children, you must stop immediately, because that is going to just teach them that they can swear. Or if you are in a violent and domestic violent relationship, you need to stop that relationship immediately, because that is going to show your children that hitting your partner is okay. And again, minimize violent videos. Kids, again, are very impressionable, and you need to be able to be aware that they will mimic whatever they see. And if they have a role model that's on TV and they see that they're being aggressive towards someone else, they will likely follow in those footsteps. And lastly, aggressive behaviors need to be stopped right away. So you need to discipline them, whether that be with timeouts, taking away things that they might enjoy, which could be video games, books, whatever. Take those away. So to conclude, within this presentation, we talked about the causes of aggressive behavior, factors that can play into effect within aggressive behaviors, and ways to prevent aggressive behaviors. I hope this video helped a lot, and this presentation helped clear any questions or concerns about aggressive behavior and helped you figure out ways to prevent aggressive behavior if they are within your family.